Is it too much of a leap to see Fetterman as Veep? It's not a joke. Fetterman got smarter after his stroke. As Dems take offense at Fetterman's common sense, Democrat Senator Jon Fetterman, former darling of the left, now says progressives left him. It's true, as his party becomes more radical, Fetterman has come under attack for refusing to support their insane positions. The guy had to get literal brain damage in order to realize that his party is a mess. And it's caused controversy that he just doesn't understand.
I honestly don't understand why it's controversial to say we need a secure border. And I think two things can be true at the same time. You can be very supportive of immigration, but we also need to have a secure border. And I think about immigration as we want to provide the American dream for any migrant. But it seems very difficult when you have 300,000 people showing up encountered at our border to do that. And I think we need to do a reset, and we have to work together and develop a new comprehensive solution to that.
It's beautiful, actually. The Democrats created a monster, and now he's turning on them. As he recovered his mind, they left him behind. And who would have thought having a stroke was the best thing that ever happened to him? Could it be Fetterman's stroke was a stroke of genius? Whatever they did in his therapy, spread it around. There's plenty in Washington who could benefit from it.
I also want to mention Congressman Deborah Ross. Where's Deborah? I just had my picture taken with her. That's probably why she left. No, all kidding aside. Anyway, she couldn't be here, actually. That's not true. I got it mixed up.
Wow. So why was just hanging out with somebody who wasn't really there?
Yeah.
Emily, I have to be honest. I still feel pretty bad for making fun of Fetterman. I feel like I need to make public and private amends or something, because it turns out that he's like, he actually was probably doing, dealing with a lot of stuff, and now he's like sensible. Wait a minute, what's happening to me?
I know.
What a jerk. Let's party.
Okay, first of all, I'll say this. I am always grateful for anyone holding an elected position and for his point, a Senate position that has common sense. So thank you. That aside, I feel like we just watched someone go through puberty in real time on our dime. I don't want to watch someone who sees the light and comes to Jesus, who in 2020 tweeted Jeb Bush like, I'm the real progressive and I'm the most progressive, and in his race said, vote for me, I'm the most progressive. Like he's been sort of a hack for many years and claiming that he's the most progressive. And now that we are realizing, or we're watching him realize, that yes, you have to have a bit of common sense. And they have left me, that's what that identity crisis is what's happening to a lot of Democrats. But sort of watching it happen and feeling like now we're supposed to applaud, I'm just grateful that someone who has a D before his name might actually be voting for common sense. But I don't feel like witnessing the progression. Like, just get something done then.
All right. Well, what do you think, Vivek? Should we give him the benefit of the doubt, or should we crush him like a bug the way Emily feels?
Yeah.
Well, I would say
no prisoners.
my background before was in biotech, and I will say that every neurologist needs to study this man's brain, because what happened is nothing short of a miracle.
Yeah.
And I will also say, if this means more Democrats need to wear hoodies, get rid of the suits and bring them out. I mean, I'm fine with that. Whatever gets the job done, I'm in this for the country. And so, if somebody is saying the right thing and heading in the right direction and it's earnest, and I was watching him, I wonder, my first instinct, is this some kind of shtick? I didn't get the sense that it is. And so anybody who has an earnest, heartfelt change, sometimes I think a lot of politicians create a box for themselves because they weren't thinking when they were reading what their super PACs handed them as their script. But then they show up and occasionally they actually say, wait a minute, I was just reading that script and I actually have independent thoughts. I think we got to applaud that, or else we create a disincentive for more people to do it. And the other thing is, the border now is officially a nonpartisan issue, as it should have been in the first place. That's a good thing, and we should celebrate it. And I think that if we own closing the border as a leading issue going into this campaign, from places like New York City to where we are across this country, I think this could be a landslide win. And if Jon Fetterman proves it, keep that hoodie coming, brother. I'm happy to have you.
Kat, the opening thing said Fetterman is Veep. Wouldn't it be hilarious if Trump chose him across the aisle? Said, I want this fella over here, big guy, John.
I don't think that'll happen. I agree with you. I think independent thought should be encouraged. I think that just because someone has thoughts outside of their party doesn't mean that they're now in the other one.
Yeah.
I think it means they're thinking independently. But I'm just a little upset about the video we just watched. Like, was the president hallucinating? And we're supposed to just be like okay with that?
He was.
Why isn't anyone going to tell us what happened?
I don't know. I don't know. That
if
was.
I started hallucinating on TV, people would ask questions.
Yeah, exactly. That's like an outtake from The Sixth Sense.
He's like, oh no, I took a picture with her. He goes, wait a minute, I can't be. She's not here. I just So why did you think that you did?
Yeah.
Why did you think that you did? If she's not here, it's very simple. Why did you think you took a picture with her when she was not there? Did you see her at some point and think she was there? Were you thinking of another time? No, I'm just like, I know this stuff happens all the time. It happens all the time, so a lot of people are like, oh, that's just Joe being Joe again. Like, that's not enough for me.
No,
that's not enough for me. Why did you think you took a picture with somebody that was not there?
I know. And I bet that's the first time people have seen that, right? It was like it was buried.
Yeah.
It was buried, much like, well, there was a joke I was going to make, but you know what? I'm just going to leave the jokes to Adam.
Like, a part of me thinks Fetterman is just jealous because the migrants are dressed better than him.
Yeah.
I mean, Goodwill sends him clothes. But he's right about the border. I mean, it's more open than Will Smith's marriage right now. And so, but I don't know if we're going to solve it. Like, I think that we need to capitalize it. Like, I think we should put obstacle course on the border, film it, call it Mexican Ninja Warrior.
Oh,
right?
nice. I like it. I like it. All right. Up next, can Taylor take a hint about her carbon footprint?
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.